Hey, hey, what up? Wake up! Shake up! What up? Wake up! This is a dream. This is a scene in a book on your face. This is in Facebook. This is live. This is the dream of a life seeming to be lived in a story. Mythical human beings who live in our story. Listen to me talk about us now. In fact, this book is called Facebook, as I'm streaming it live. And this book that we're reading from is a book called A Course in Miracles, which is a course in what are miracles actually, according to the book, is a change of perception of what a purpose is for a thing. What it is for is what it as a story is for is all stories contain something like drama, actually, something like what why is this happening, like what's the hmm? And shouldn't it be, and can it be, and some sort of like climactic feeling of what's happening. One second. I don't know what the book face did with that little time there, but I left for a little bit. Anyways, and the Course in Miracles specifically says that the dream started with the what it calls the tiny mad idea. Tiny mad idea was basically against what it calls the prime directive of reality, or of truth, actually. Not enacted, but just wholly, fully extending unlimitedly. Truth is unlimitedly true, actually. So it says that into the mind of God, where all is one and always will be one, there crept a tiny mad idea, at which it did what? It forgot to laugh. What is this tiny mad idea? It is a funny idea. What would there be if there was something other than the truth, actually? In the pristine mind of, like, being that the universe is like a mental verse, you could say, and in the pristine mind of reason and logic, what would be other than truth? Anything other than the truth would be something that's, if it's something that isn't true, it's something that is not true. So into the mind of God, where all is one and always will be one, there crept a tiny mad idea, at which it forgot, or it remembered, not to laugh. It remembered, so it played over. Its mind of God wanted to see, this mischievous part of the mind wanted to see what would it be like if there was something that opposed, or was opposite to, or was against, or was other than the truth, actually. The mind went like this, like, oh shit, and it projected out a scene wherein it thought it was a character in a story of separation, actually, where meaningless meaning was created, where lies could be stronger than the truth sometimes. And in some ways, the this origin story for the course, be the origin story of the world of how the world of appearances appeared to appear, contains a little bit of a way out of it when it says at which it forgot to laugh. So we let us remember one thing to do is to shrug and laugh. Oh my God, the world is insane. So by the way, just a little side note, I just found this book here. Look here. This is the biggest joke book in the world. So here we are on Facebook. Here we are reading a book called A Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles says that the world is made of a tiny mad idea, which um, the mind of God forgot to laugh about, or remembered not to laugh about. And that's funny. Okay, so anyway, okay, here we go. I see nothing as it is now. Lesson number 9. I see nothing as it is now. I see nothing. The way what I'm seeing is nothing, and nothingness in the Course of Miracles, you could lots of different ways you could distinguish this world. The word nothing is a really cool word. Nothing is as it seems, neither is it otherwise. I need do nothing, may nothing bind you. Nothingness is. You could also compare it to like on a polarity of wholeness, you could say, or something like this. And the Course in Miracles would equate things like um, uh, the tiny mad idea that there could be something other than the truth would be like the idea that there is something like meaningless meaning. That'd be the most pristine thing to say, that there is chaos, that innocence can be transformed into guilt or trauma. Um, I see nothing as it is now. I see a world where I saw a video recently of a cute little elephant running around. It's a little um, toddler elephant of some sort, and its snout had been somehow, it didn't have a trunk to it. Within the world of elephants, the kindness is that often they'll feed each other when they can't because it needs its trunk to be able to eat or drink, basically. Also, though, like within the world of elephants, the reason they lose their trunk often is that there's lots of other animals that want to eat them. So this world, we could say it's cute. These elephants, I say, I do believe they are cute. They are super cute running around, and it lost its snout, and how sad actually. So we could say the birds and the bees are real pretty, and also we can see that the hummingbirds are at war actually. Mm. Same thing, with birth. In reality, we know, we see, we believe it's so that every birth is a funeral in some way actually. If they're lucky and they have the dignity, supposedly they need this thing in the world of rituals actually. Anyway, it's real confusing actually. But I see nothing as it is now. I could say, I do not see me as I am now. I am not a thing to see, actually. My character may be a symbolic representation, hopefully, of a bridge to heaven or the truth that I heave upon. My reality is a bridge to be for what? Giving a way to reality, to see underneath the scenes of the movie. There is a bright light, like before the film, that stopped it, and the film is made of shadows, actually. Okay, let's read the first paragraph. The Course in Miracles tells us we may actively resist this. We don't need to believe it. It says just to hear it and practice it, actually. So we can try this on. In some ways, when I was reading this, I was like, oh, compartmentalization. Is that an okay thing? I don't know, actually, but I do think it's okay. I mean, I do think I know that it seems that practically in the practice world, in the world of practice, practically speaking, my character gets to occasionally compartmentalize things. So let's try this on in a compartment of reality, and then, get back to our accounting or our administrative work or sweeping our house or whatever. We're going to try this on though. I see nothing as it is now. I do not see me as I am now. It's like I am again, kind of like I've said, like where you are is right there, right there. Paragraph number 1. This idea obviously follows from the two preceding ones, but while you may be able to accept it intellectually, it is unlikely that it will mean anything to you as yet. Kind of demeaning me, eh, of course? Goodness, eh? However, understanding is not necessary at this point. You don't need to understand at this point. In fact, the recognition that you do not understand is prerequisite for the undoing of false ideas. In order to attempt to understand things, we need to recognize we do not understand them as they are. These exercises are concerned with practice, not with understanding. Practically speaking, you do not need to practice what you already understand. It would indeed be circular to aim at understanding and assume that you have it already. We need to understand that it is not understandable in some big way. The world, full of tragedy, is in some way meaningless meaning, which doesn't mean anything meaningfully. Paragraph number 2, it is difficult for the untrained mind to believe that what it seems to picture is not there. An untrained mind can accomplish nothing. It is difficult for the untrained mind to believe that what it seems to picture is not there, is nothing there. What it seems to picture is not a thing there. I'm reminded of a friend of mine who, in my story, had a psychotic break and disappeared, and then texted me asking for a massage in a sort of strange way that he texted. And he approached, and I could tell something was off with him, and he had this like sort of like, yeah, he had this schizophrenic break, and there was a part of him that wanted to like defend or believe that what he saw was reality, and there was a part of me that's like, hey, there's no reason for me to not deny that you experienced yourself experiencing that there was a monster in your closet or something like that, maybe. But also, let's affirm the reality that when we both together shined a light in the closet, it wasn't there actually. So, what it's difficult for an untrained mind, a mind that seems to think it is separate, lonely, and afraid, to believe that what it seems to picture is not there actually. It's not only difficult, it could be, from a humanistic standpoint, unkind to demand that the untrained mind believe that what it seems to picture is not there. The world meets us where we know we believe we are, or the spirit meets us where we know we believe we are, in order to assist us from there, in order to not have the truth used in a way to cause more suspicion against it. The way it would do that is to have yourself know you believe you are in a body, and then say, well, I'm not even in a body. Meanwhile, not, or we're not even, there's not even two of us here. I'm saying that to who? Someone else I believe is here. And is this helpful? I know that it is not actually. I know I believe it is not actually to top down metaphysical meditations in a way that's demanding other people believe what I read in a book compared to what I know I believe. Like, I'm here, I have like an earbud in my left ear, I shouldn't sit on the fire, I should sit on the chair. I shouldn't warm myself up, my hands up with the chair that's not on fire, because it won't work. My hands won't get warm from it. If I sit on the fire, I won't be able to sit anymore. I meet the world, the spirit meets me where I know I believe I am. It works with the story in order to unwind our mind from time, using it to go back to before time was. The Course seems to say that it will seem that progress will happen in steps, actually, but it also says you either get all of it or none of it in some way. The Course also seems to say something like, it'll seem like it'll happen in the future, but actually, awakening is before time was. It is before the tiny matter crept. Still, paragraph number 2, sentence number 2, this idea can be quite disturbing. The idea that I see nothing as it is now. This idea can be quite disturbing and may meet the active resistance. It may meet with active resistance in any number of forms. Yet that does not preclude applying it, no more than it. Man, I'm having trouble reading today. No more than it is required for these or any other exercises. Each small step will clear a little darkness away, and understanding will finally come to enlighten every corner of the mind that has been cleared of the debris that darkens it. I see nothing as it is now. Attempting to put the world in, again, to sort of be above the battleground and have the world be kind of in the corner of our eye. Cross training between touching into reality, into the kingdom within of subjective experience of I can be happy. There's a way for me to be even when mosquitoes are biting me. I do this thing called mosquito meditation. Or even when another thing that this man does in body sometimes is this thing called sananga. It's this really, really painful thing that you put in your eyes. And I notice that my body seems to fight against it. I notice that in my experience, I have a body, which I consider to be myself sometimes, and my body seems to go fighting against the sensations. And then and mostly I notice, I think I do this because it seems to be that it will stop my strategic self from accumulating what it wants to. But if I can let go of that, I can just notice that even pain, sensational pain, can be actually ecstatic in some way. Okay, so, and not painful. Painful in this way is an interpretation based on a story and time of my character wanting it to be a certain way, which I work with. Paragraph number 2, sentence number 2. This idea can be quite disturbing and may meet with active resistance in any number of forms, yet that does not preclude applying it, no more than it is required for these or any other exercises. Each small step each small step will clear a little darkness away, and understanding will come to lighten every corner of the mind that has been cleared of debris that darkens it. Paragraph number 3. These exercises, for which 3 or 4 practice periods are sufficient, involve looking about you, applying the idea for the day to whatever you see, remembering the need for its indiscriminate application, and the essential rule of excluding nothing. For example, I do not see this typewriter as it is now. I do not see this telephone as it is now. I do not see this arm as it is now. Begin with things that are nearest you. See, that's why we said this, and then extend the range outward. I do not see that coat rack as it is now. I do not see that door as it is now. I do not see that face as it is now. It is emphasized again that while complete inclusion should not be attempted, specific exclusion must be avoided. Be sure you are honest with yourself making this distinction. You may be tempted to obscure it. You cannot include everything, but do not exclude, do not avoid specifics, actually. So I do not see that face as it is now. I do not see that door as it is now. One reason I don't is that I see everything I see is made of the past, according to the Course. And the past, again, distinctly, I would say, we can distinguish by seeming to add synonyms to it. The past is what? Past what? Past the only thing there would be? Truth. Anything other than it is something that is not true. It's past reality. It's beyond the truth. Actually, it's not true in some way. Okay, so good day and many blessings to you on your way.